Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more variable barricade, continuing Tyga's route. Woo, of course, we know that. Just at the orphanage, and continuing in that chapter. So anyway, after we enjoyed some of the sisters' wonderful tea, Tyga gave me a tour of the orphanage. Then we played with the children, or let them play with us, more accurately, and all of a sudden it was evening.
Sure you don't want to stick around for dinner? Sister's cooking's to die for.
I couldn't. I'd be taking advantage of her hospitality. Tyga was right. It's painfully clear just how short on staff they are. They haven't much food to spare for unexpected guests, either. Next time I come to visit, I ought to ask if there's any way I can help.
Sheesh. You always gotta be so formal, babe. Kids wanted you to stick around, you know.
Let them know I'd love to play with them again sometime, and I promise I'll be more energetic.
Even as a high schooler, you don't have the energy to keep up with children, eh?
Well, there's so many of them. They all swarmed at once. Even if I'd known what I was in for, I still doubt I'd be able to keep up.
Don't let them scare you off, though. They'll be counting the minutes till you come back and play.
I don't mind playing with children. I've plenty of practice dealing with the overgrown children I live with back at home.
Hey, you count me as one of those overgrown children, too, you know. Oh, you count. Sorry. You count as one of those overgrown children, too, you know.
Oh, I do not! Though, compared to when I first arrived, I definitely fit in with them more comfortably than I'd like to admit. I recalled when I first moved in and met them. I thought my life at the house was a nightmare, but now the suitor's presence wasn't part of a comfortable routine. I can read. I know I say this a lot, and it's obvious I can't, but I don't mind the occasional day like this.
Good to hear.
How many times had I seen Tyga flash that bright, innocent smile today? Makes me smile along with him. Still, contagious smiles were kind of nice.
Hey, do you really think the two of them are... Yeah, they have to be. I mean, didn't you see? They were making eyes at each other.
Listen, Sally Budinsky? Betty Budinsky? Mind your business. I'm just kidding.
Those little ankle biters.
Let's go. We departed from the orphanage, leaving behind the girls' curious glances. Ready, children. Turn on my fancy lights. Dark up here. We'd already told Ichio we didn't eat dinner, so we stopped in a nearby restaurant. After we ate, we took a stroll in the park to let our food settle.
Pretty noisy place, wasn't it? So, now you know where I grew up.
It was certainly boisterous, yes, but I'd say for me it felt more... strangely nostalgic, maybe?
Yeah, that place has the warm and welcoming family vibe down pat.
Warm and welcoming family. Grandfather's place popped to mind. No. He was as warm as an iceberg. The next faces that came to mind were Sumiko and Kasuga, right? Kasuga is our family, and we should just keep it in the family. Gross. It doesn't matter, it's Kasuga, I don't give a crap. Yes, that's better. That's warm, right? Kasuga! Warm, loving, wonderful Kasuga. Come on. They're not related to me by blood, but I suppose they're another kind of family. I felt my heart flutter at the thought that I had something in common with Tyga. Even if there aren't any blood ties... The word stopped as I realized something. No, that isn't right. How could I think we had something like that in common? Our circumstances were utterly different. I had my grandparents who were related to me. I had servants to care for my needs. I grew up in luxury, living in a quiet space of my own. I was handed everything I needed or wanted. Tyga... I can't say we're the same. Not at all. That would be disrespectful. I mean, I get where she's coming from, and that's true. It's like, we're the same. We're not, but you can say, like, yeah, I guess, I understand having that family vibe, having a found family, because that's the way
You know what I mean? Because you can understand having a found family. You don't have to be like, yeah, we're the same. Because you're right, you're not, but you understand that found family thing where you're not related by blood, but there are people that feel like family to you more than maybe your own family does, you know?
Tyga, observant as he was, must have realized why I had suddenly gone quiet. He said,
Hey, are you pitying me for how I grew up? Don't go barking up the wrong tree here, babe.
Huh?
It's true I don't have parents, but growing up without a mother and father shouldn't have any bearing on the kind of life you want to live. We're all God's children, after all. It's trite, yeah, but it's true.
Did you learn that in church?
Technically, I guess. Sister told me as much when I turned 10. Not a bad way to look at the world, don't you think?
Dug through one of his pockets and fished out something that looked familiar. He still carries it with him. I mean, like, of course he does, but it's still cute. Like, when you saw the sister give him the rosary, you weren't like, oh yeah, Tyga just tossed that somewhere. You're like, you know he always had that on him. So him pulling it out of his pocket, you're like, that's so cute, you still have it, but I kind of knew you would, but it's still adorable. Like, I don't know what I was expecting there. Like, that's the same one that boy had.
Yep, we all get one on our 10th birthday. Sister gives it to each of us with a reminder that it symbolizes our family. Everyone who's lived at that orphanage has one. They all take care of it after they leave, too.
Tyga looked down at the rosary and rubbed a thumb over it gently. I felt a smile tug at my lips. It's lovely. Both the rosary and that way of thinking.
Really? If you want, I'll give you one, too.
What? No, I couldn't. It's way too important to you.
Not this one. A new one just for you. I'll get you one from Sister next time I see her.
Why? I'm not... Something tightened in my chest. I looked away from Tyga and said, I'm not family. I'm not from that orphanage. I mean, it's like, I'm not from that orphanage, but it's the I'm not family is what she's really thinking. But, like, saying, I'm not family, okay. So, like, they could do it the bad thing where you're like, I'm not family, and then he feels slighted, like, well, you are to me. You know what I mean? But I feel like, in more sense, it'd be like, but I'm not family. Even though you're like, kind of. And he's like, but you are. You know what I mean? Like, it could absolutely be really romantic. Like, I'm not from that orphanage is straight facts, but I like the I'm not family option. You know, in the good sense. Not like, I'm not family. Like, get away from me, I'm pushing you away. It's more like the, like, you know, the coy, but I'm not family. I want you to say I am. You know? Yeah, I'm not family.
He's like, yeah, you are, babe.
It's fucking Tyga, you know? I'm not part of your family.
Hey, what did I just say? We're all God's children. Me, the kids, you, every single one of us. Don't hold back over something as insignificant as blood. You've heard of universal brotherhood, right? In this case, I'd say universal family instead.
Universal family, huh? It sounds silly, but I still like the idea. Can I look at it that way too? I made a tiny wish in my heart and looked up at Tyga.
Besides, Gramps has one of these too, you know.
He does?
Yep. He does a lot to help out the orphanage as a whole. That makes him family too. Came with me to see the place because you're gonna inherit the Tojo family someday, right? If that's the case, you're gonna need a rosary too.
Grandfather and I, family with everyone at the orphanage, when I'm barely family with my own grandfather. I felt like I'd just been told that I'd never have to be alone ever again. Fucking adorable. And after growing up in near solitude as the Tojo family heir, those words were enough to make my heart dance.
Got it? So just accept one. It's fine.
Thanks. A warm and fuzzy feeling settled near my heart, and I felt a little smile at the corners of my mouth. When I get one of my own, I suppose that'll make me part of your family too, Tyga.
Well, technically, yeah. Family in one sense of the word, but...
Now look, he's all blushing. Why is he stammering over it? He was the one who said we're all God's children.
Because he's thinking like a romantic family. I'll make a family out of you, you know?
If someone actually ever fucking said that to you. Mildly confused, I raised an eyebrow at him. But a moment later... Family... There were lots of definitions for the word, one of which involved two totally unrelated people coming together.
to form a unit. A man and a woman, for instance. Well, wait, no, I didn't mean it like that. Not at all. Yeah, right. Of course you didn't. I knew that. It was just expression, that's all. We laughed nervously at each other, our forms silhouetted against the glittering night skyline. Wow, I cannot read that sentence. Oh. Despite the dark, we could both tell the other was blushing beet red. Embarrassed, we silently agreed to look the other way. I swear I can fucking read. I like the fact that the Ferris wheel is lit up in the background. That's fucking awesome. And I feel like that's a permanent one, and I like it. You know what I mean? Like, it's always there. All right, let's see which one of these ones we go to next. Romance sensors on! Yeah. Samugi's caught on to the change between Taiga and I. She calls for another girls' day out! Yes. I love dramatic Samugi. After school, Samugi approached me with a sunny smile, which was always cause for alarm. Oh, would you look at the time? There's ever so much on my plate today. If I don't get moving, Kasuga will be mad. Spacey! So busy today.
I've already received permission from Mr. Kasuga. He said we can enjoy a leisurely afternoon together. You will not slip away from me today.
Ugh. I love that she went to Kasuga first. Can I take her? And he was like, be my guest. Damn it, Kasuga!
This marks the beginning of an exhilarating girls' day out.
Dragged along in Samugi's wake, we met up with an equally displeased Noah, dressed in her typical after-school outfit. I could tell Samugi had no intention of letting either of us wiggle our way out of this. And this is the opposite of exhilarating for me, I assure you. So what is it this time, huh?
A discussion about Spacey's love life, of course. I have a hunch there are all sorts of new developments she's just dying to tell us about.
Not really.
Goodness, there can't possibly be nothing. My romance radar is going off like mad.
You sure that radar isn't on the fritz?
I don't mean to brag, but my radar is always perfectly tuned. And that's why I called this meeting.
Great. Now I'm in for it. Thanks, romance radar. Inwardly sweating, I desperately tried to think of a way to slip away from this girls' day out. I'd specifically been avoiding Samugi because I knew she'd catch wind of the situation and pester me. I started the day after Taiga's big breast brouhaha was finally resolved. Oh, it started the day after Taiga's big breast brouhaha was finally resolved. Big breast brouhaha. People don't say brouhaha enough. We need to just make that a thing now. This brouhaha, these shenanigans! You muppet! Classy old-timey insult, even though you muppet is not really, I don't think it's very old-timey, but like, it just has that ring to it where you're like, okay, grandpa. But like, sassy, you know what I mean? Instead of being like, fuck you, you're like, how dare you, you muppet! Just, there's something fancy about that kind of insult, I'm just saying. Fancy things back. Anyway.
Come to think of it, have you already made amends with Mr. Isurugi?
What? Wait, what is that? What does he have to do with anything?
What do you mean, what does he have to do with anything, Spacey? Don't you recall what I said?
Oh, what you said.
You said you got into a terrible argument with Mr. Isurugi. You said your sweet little heart was so wounded you could no longer look at him. Remember?
I said that?
Of course! You pressed your hand against your heart as you spoke, as if you'd been fatally wounded.
Wait, when? I don't remember that at all. I feel like Samugi like over-exaggerates shit in her wild imagination, and I can get behind that, because I do the same thing.
Oh! Did I?
I suppose I must have been a little agitated at the time. But that issue's been resolved. You needn't worry about it anymore. I'll be fine.
The two of you have made amends, then. Oh, I am ever so relieved to hear that. It seems there was no mistake about the point I made the other day. Excellent.
What was that?
Nothing. But anyway, how did the two of you come to reconcile? And was that reconciliation a genesis of a romance?
Oh, the genesis of a romance, yeah.
Of course not. It's nothing. I lectured him about his behavior and he apologized. That's it. That's all.
Samugi's eyes. It's like her normal eyes, but she looks like, ding, ding, like they're extra big, like, yes? Her face.
Oh goodness, lunch is ending. We best hurry back to class, Samugi.
I'd been more than a little flustered at the time, and I had no idea how to go about explaining what happened. Oh, I guess they were actually open a little bit more than normal. I reflexively wove around the topic like a dodgeball. Because like this, there's some shading, I think, across the top, and that one where she was like looking like wide-eyed didn't have that, so that they just looked wider. Perfect. But even after I'd regained my composure, I couldn't bring myself to talk to Samugi. I was embarrassed. I already know she's gonna tease me about things. Really, I can't think of anything that's worth mentioning. Nothing of note has happened at all.
Spacey, if you do us the kindness of being honest, Harimura has promised to be kind in turn by sharing a secret method of increasing your bust size.
She promised what? I promised what now? I stole a glance over at Noah's impressive, assets. For a quick moment, I was certainly curious about the forbidden knowledge she was supposedly keeping. And then I came to my senses. Why, increasing bust size.
A very good question.
Samugi's smile set alarm bells ringing in my head again. Hey, listen, can we stop beating around the bush here? Harimura saw Samugi and I exchanged glances. With thinning patience, she sighed and started talking. What? You two called Taiga out and grilled him?
Giving up his duty as the house's observer is as good as a declaration of love. Oh, how thrilling. This is beautiful.
Would you two both shut up, please? God, it's embarrassing to be seen in your company, and yet you keep coming out with us. I'm just saying, she likes us a little. Noah's frigid voice snapped both of us back to our senses. Abashed, we straightened in our seats. Samugi awkwardly cleared her throat and said,
So, Spacey, if you had to be honest, where would you say things stand between the two of you right now?
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that. Things haven't changed as much as you seem to think they have. What? Seriously? He dead-ass said he wants you. Isn't he flirting with you all the time now? No! He'd never do that! Really? Huh. Doesn't strike me as the slow, cautious type. I thought he'd be way pushier. I thought so too.
But surely there hasn't been a complete lack of movement. Haven't you at least been on a date or two? Oh? Where?
An arcade, and we visited the orphanage where he grew up. You? In an arcade? Now there's a weird mental image. At first I didn't want to go at all. I, didn't have the highest opinion of arcades. But it turned out to be incredibly fun. So much so I was embarrassed at how uninformed I'd been. Tyga's good at entertaining people. He answers all my questions in a manner that's easy to understand, and he always finds new ways to, well, expand my world. Oh, he's gonna be expanding your world later, and... Dear God. Okay, let's keep going. Uh-huh. He's visited so many foreign countries, too. He knows so much more than you'd expect just by looking at him. He's not as dumb as he looks! He knows exactly how to interact with people, too. He's so good at it, he's even influenced Grandfather. That's not something just anyone can do. Wow, you sure are buttering him up. Singing your crush's praises, eh? I'm not! I'm simply telling you the facts on what he's like as a person!
Of course you are. How splendid! How was your visit to the orphanage? It is effectively his family home. You must have been terribly nervous.
I was. The children descended on me like an avalanche, all demanding I play with them. It was exhausting. The sister in charge is a lovely woman, though. She even told me stories about Tyga's childhood.
Good. I'm glad to hear you get along so well with your future siblings and mother-in-law. Your future looks bright indeed.
Siblings? Mother-in-law?
I can't overstate how important a good relationship with your future extended family is. You'll be kin soon enough, after all. Best lay a good foundation.
The family? Smokey, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Oh, not particularly. After all, isn't marriage the end goal of this relationship in the first place? It's important to start keeping these things in mind.
It's important.
It's important to keep these things in mind, not important. Important. It's important. From what you've told me so far, Spacey, Mr. Isurugi has your grandfather's regard. He's a talented man who broadens your horizons, and you're primed to enjoy good relations with his family. What a wonderful proposition he's turned out to be! This is a far cry from that initial unpleasantness. I approve!
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, unlike before, he started to look at Tojo as a prospect, right? Not to parrot Kano, but seems like romance is definitely in the cards. But I... Oh, right, he's an unemployed slacker. I guess marriage is off the table. What? Oh, I see. So it's not after all. Gotcha.
Wait, slow down! I haven't thought that far ahead!
Look at them both like, girl.
Just give up already. Your flat stares spoke volumes.
Okay, I'll admit it. I do look at Taiga in that way. To some degree, at least. Oh, come on. Just come out and say you're crushing on him.
I'm looking at him more seriously. That's enough for now, okay? Yes, that's plenty for now. The most important words are best left for when the time is right for the two of you to exchange them.
Hush, Samugi.
Samugi's uncanny knack for picking up on my unspoken preferences marked the main reason why she was my best friend. At the same time, said knack was mortifying.
Whatever, the important part is that you know for sure it's mutual, right? All that's left is for the two of you to hook up then. Cool, meeting adjourned.
Well, wait, that isn't it! Arimura tried to close the book on matters and leave, but I quickly stopped her.
Okay, so what's the problem?
Yes, both of us are looking at each other more seriously, but whether we agree to take the relationship any further is another matter entirely.
Besides, I'm just sorting all this out for myself too. I'm not really in a position where I can say I'm ready to go all the way here either.
Deep down, I knew that what Taiga said to me that day was the honest truth. In which case, the more time I spend with him, the more I'm starting to think there's a solid basis to my feelings. I'll admit that. But there's no guarantee he'll wind up feeling the same way about me. He may like me to some degree, but it's possible he'll hold off on anything serious.
Ugh, really? Are you still making excuses even now? God, your pessimism will send you to an early grave, and then you'll never have to worry about marrying anyone.
I agree. On the off chance that Mr. Isurugi gets cold feet, Spacey, all you need to do is simply leap over his reluctance and give him the matter of a teensy push. Oh, and give the matter a teensy push. And give the matter a teensy push. Not him. Don't push him. Oh my.
But, no, seriously. Just hook up with the guy. It's for your own good, I promise.
Even if our feelings are mutual, I don't think getting together right away is going to happen. Why not? Because I don't feel like there's enough of me. What? Oh, Spacey, you can't simply enlarge your bust overnight. That isn't what I meant! I don't feel like I'm, well, worthy of Taiga. Not the way I am now.
It's actually kind of cute. Because you're like, I may have money, but like, he's like so worldly and knowledgeable and I'm just not worth it. Like, that's actually nice to think that, you know, because most people are like, he's got money, you're not worthy of him. Because, like, they've got, like, money is the most... I mean, look, money makes the world go round, and money is, like, people... Money can't buy happiness. Bullshit! When you ain't got money, you realize how happy money would make you. I'm just saying. People who say money can't buy happiness have money, alright? And you don't have to worry about shit. It's not the only thing that makes you happy, and it's not only and only having money is not going to make you happy, but... It's bullshit to say money isn't gonna make you happy, because, like, fuck, hell yeah! There might be other things you want, but that's the same thing as any dream, right? I dream of this, and then that happens, and then what, you just stop dreaming? You never want anything else in your life again? No! You always have wants and goals and aspirations and dreams. That's the whole point, right? Anyway, digression there. But, like, Usually it's, oh, well, he's not worth you because you're rich, even though, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got so much other stuff, and the money means jack shit here. I kind of like that, you know what I mean? She's like, I'm not worth him. Like, I might have money, but like, dude, he is like smart and knowledgeable, and I am just like a sad sack. I'm a fucking potato. You know, it's awesome. I like that. Good job. Anyway. I could practically visualize the question marks popping over both of their heads. I took a deep breath and laid my feelings bare. The more time I spend with Taiga, the more I realize that I'm woefully ignorant about the world around me. I'm practically a child. I need to grow up, to mature as a person. If I don't, I'm not sure that he'll develop feelings for me. You can worry about that after you hook up. God, Noah, Jesus Christ. She's like a horny bastard. But what if we get together and he becomes disillusioned with my naivety? What then? Their eyes jabbed into me. That's not our problem, their glare seemed to declare. I mean... kind of douchey of them, right? Like, just hook up with a guy. But what happens if I hook up with him and then he breaks up with me? Not my problem. You're the one pushing her to do something she's not comfortable with. I mean, I don't think they mean, like, hook up as in, like, hook up. You know what I mean? It's like, just freaking date the man. Just admit you like him. And it's like, and if you admit you like him, you have feelings for him, blah, 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 and then, like, he decides he's, you know, whatever, he doesn't want you, then you move on. You know what I mean? You can't not take that risk. But the not our problem is kind of douchey coming from people pushing you into this shit. We're trying to help you, but we don't really give a crap what happens. Like a weird way to, like... It's just a weird thing for them to have put in there, you know, in the game. No, I know. You think I'm being silly? You think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill? Of course not. Anyone would want to present their best selves to the one they love. I think it's a sweet aspiration. Really? You want my opinion? I think if you keep stalling with the wishy-washy what-if crap, he's gonna get bored and eventually bail on you. Don't worry, Spacey. I know you can do it. I'm sure your sparkling personality and pure maiden's heart will sway him. Do your best. Don't give up. You can overcome your flaws and present your best self to him. I'm sure of it. I'll be cheering you on the entire way. Smokey... Oh, well, guess you're still a beginner at dating and romance. You may as well have a full pining. It'll lose its luster soon enough. I mean, this is the perfect chance for you to enjoy that unique ache of being just out of reach. Norimura, I'm sure my indecisiveness was frustrating them both, but the gentle push I received from both of them made me feel surprisingly invigorated. All right. Let's adjourn today's meeting on romantic ventures and move on to the next important item on our agenda. Re-energizing ourselves for tomorrow. In other words, it's time to eat some sweets. Yes, why not? Let's do that. I'm being honest, I'd rather go home. Both of us ignored her. Becoming my best self for Taiga. I savored my slice of cake and let my thoughts wander. I like how we have to sit here and talk, but we can't talk while we eat cake. We can't do the two things. Girls, learn to multitask! What could I do to keep from embarrassing myself when I was around him? I want to try everything that pops into my mind. It's important to push your boundaries, after all. Every time Taiga showed me something new, it felt like my whole world expanded a little bit. If I could challenge myself to try new things, maybe I'd gradually expand my horizons. It was a start. I'm going to give it a try. Tsumugi and Arimura smiled and nodded in approval. Chapter clear. Hell yeah! Romance senses off, bitch. I'm just kidding. What comes after love? Our relationship is advancing quite nicely, but then a call from Sister gives him pause. The morning after I took... Oh, I'm sorry, we're not Smokey. We're Samuki. The morning after I took Beep to visit the orphanage. Could you imagine if fucking Taiga talked like Samuki? Want to read? Well, when his line comes up in his sprite, I'll just read in Samuki's voice for you for have that effect, because I want to do it for myself. Anyway, morning after I took Babe to visit the orphanage. I never done it playing with the kids. Door all over, I slowly lowered myself into a seat for breakfast. Taiga, you overslept! Okay, wait, there you go. See Taiga in the corner? Let's wait, I'm gonna read it like Samuki. Not all of us love waking up at ass o'clock in the morning, like you do, okay? This is plenty early for me. How fun is that? That was a good line. I really enjoyed waking up at ass o'clock in the morning. It was great. Anyway. Not all of us love waking up at ass o'clock in the morning like you do, okay? This is plenty early for me. I really love ass o'clock. My favorite line in this game, I think.
True. At least you managed to come down before I left for school. That's a big improvement.
You bet. Goes against my very nature to drag myself out of bed in time to see you. Compliment me more. Don't push your luck. Babe's cheeks puffed out in a pout. Couldn't help but smirk. Ichia coming in with pot coming in with a pot of after breakfast. I was like, pot after what? Like, I don't know why my brain couldn't read. Anyway, Ichia coming in with a pot of after breakfast coffee gave me a sour look. And so apparently the two of you went out somewhere together yesterday. Did you make an effort to entertain her properly? Huh? Entertain? She said she wanted to visit the orphanage where I grew up, so I took her there. That's it. Your orphanage? So it wasn't a date?
No, it wasn't. I played with the children there and had a conversation with the sister in charge. Grandfather donates to the orphanage regularly. I learned quite a bit from my visit.
Oh, okay. Why does Ichia look so sad about it?
Realizing he had the wrong idea, Ichia's shoulders slumped as he deflated.
And it's like he's sad about, like, being wrong, but it's so funny. Really, it was much better use of my time than some plain old date. My lips twitched upward as I poured my veggie juice mix into a shaker. Babe stood next to me and handed me a bottle of mineral water. Oh my god, wasn't that conscientious? Can't say conscientious in Taiga's voice for some reason. Other.
Taiga, when will you be going back there next?
Huh? I don't know, I haven't decided yet. What, you waiting for the kids to climb all over you again?
Well, I promised the children that I'd play with them again. I'd simply like to keep that promise.
Uh-huh. I'd heard her promise that to the kids, yeah, but the way her cheeks flushed bright pink as she talked to me told me it wasn't the only reason. She was easier to read than a blinking neon street sign. Unable to help myself, I ruffled her hair.
Well, hey, stop that! You're messing me up!
You'll fix it later. I need to get my ruffle on.
Ugh, you hair-ruining tyrant!
Took a moment to savor her beet red face as she flailed uselessly at my busy hands. Shion, watching from the table, suddenly spoke up.
You two certainly have grown quite close.
You had your turn, Shion.
Yeah, they have. And I'm super glad to see that you finally learned your lesson and started being nice to Spacey, Taiga.
Oh, Nayuta's so dumb he doesn't realize what's going on. But it's okay. You just want to, boop, boop. You just want to pat him on his stupid little head, don't you? You must be blind. You're the only one who's blind. I'm sweet as pudding. Ugh, that's enough out of you. And then Ichia's like, I know what's happening here. When do I get a turn?
Later, Ichia. Next route. I promise, sweetie. Poor Ichia.
It feels like they've turned It feels like they've turned friendly and more like they've grown closer together. It feels less like they've turned... Okay. I can't read today. When can I ever? Anyway? It feels less like they've turned friendly and more like they're growing closer together. As Ichia muttered gloomily to himself, a pall dropped over his eye. He's so dramatic. Oh, I love you, a little drama queen. Why? You're so funny. Hold on, I think that's mine. That's loud. A ringtone interrupted us. Stuck my hand into my pocket and pulled out my phone. Yep, it was mine. Caller ID on the screen said, that is the loudest fucking ringtone ever. Hello? Yeah, sorry. Give me a sec while I step outside. A friend? Nah, sister. I'm gonna step out for a sec. Take care on your way to school, Kay.
Say hello to her for me!
I waved goodbye to her as I quickly ducked out of the kitchen. Sorry about that, sister. So, what's up?
I'm sorry to bother you so early in the morning, dear. I was cleaning the hobby room earlier and I happened to cross a familiar coin case. I think it was yours. Do you remember having one?
Oh yeah, totally forgot about that thing. Could you hang on to it till the next time I come around?
Of course, dear. I wanted to let you know I have it just in case it was something important to you. I wanted to say thank you, too. The children were over the moon to see you yesterday.
Come on, no need for thanks. I'll be staying in Japan for a while, so I'll drop by for a visit again soon. Babe wants to come along again, too. She says hi, by the way.
Hi, young Miss Tojo. It would be lovely to see her again.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Hey, sister, would you be able to prepare another rosary by then?
Let me guess. You'd like to give it to Miss Spacey? Of course, I'll gladly make one for her.
Oh my god, it's not even like they buy them. She's making them. That's adorable. Oh my god, it's handmade by her sister mother. Great, I appreciate it. Maybe it's because she's Gramps' kid, but she's starting to get curious about the orphanage.
That's wonderful to hear. Miss Tojo does so much. Oh, Mr. Tojo does so much for us. I'm glad his granddaughter is interested too.
All of a sudden, sister dropped her voice to a conspiratorial whisper.
Oh, tell me, Tyga, are you serious about Miss Spacey?
Just gonna lob the heavy-hitting questions at me this early in the morning, huh? How did it look to you?
No question. And the look on your face, I could tell she's dear to you. Even when you were a boy, it was easy to tell when something fascinated you.
Oof. Can't hide anything from you, can I? It's kind of embarrassing to think I was being that obvious. I didn't bother to try to gloss over it. I said I couldn't hide anything from her, and I didn't. I always told the truth. She deserved it. We were family, after all. Well, I'm not gonna deny it. We're about a step or two away from that kind of relationship, yeah.
Oh, how nice. I wish you the best with that. Does Mr. Tojo know?
Huh, does he know? Sister, he's the one who tossed me at her. He's even more into the idea than I am.
I can understand that. Mr. Tojo has always been very fond of you. He doesn't care much about where a person comes from, you know. He understands and values you for who you are. I feel so much better now.
There was something about her tone that snagged my attention, and I frowned. What are you talking about, sister? Gramps isn't...
I heard, Tyga. Mr. Tojo has already invited you to work for him a couple of times by now, right?
Damn it! That old fart really loves to spill the beans, doesn't he? She was right, though. He tried to get me to come work for him more than once. It was almost a routine between us now. He'd jokingly offer me a job, and I'd always laugh and blow it off. Sister, you know that Gramps is just joking around, right?
Oh, he never jokes about things like that. He's very serious about everything connected to his work.
Yeah, but I knew what she was trying to say. More than one of the orphans growing up here had secretly asked Gramps to hire them someday, but he always smiled and deflected their requests. He never committed. He made sure to draw clear lines about that stuff. I knew that all too well. And what he said to me, I mean, because it'd be kind of weird if, like, he was like, yeah, sure, you could work for me, and then they're like, no, it's like you're hiring people to work for you. You want the best person for the job. And you have to be discerning about that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And just because these orphans and I feel for them doesn't mean like, oh yeah, I'm just going to give them all jobs. Especially if they're like, you know what I mean? That's your business on the line. And like, yeah, there are some people that are like, that could do that. And you might have some types of jobs they could do. But like, hey, let me come work for you. Sure. And then they roll up like, yo, Gramps. What's up? I'm gonna work in your finance department. And they're like a fucking hooligan. Like, maybe they didn't grow. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna promise something to a child when you don't know how they're gonna turn out. Like, maybe they all grow up to be gems, but maybe, like, the one that you promised could have a job turns out to be, like, a fucking thug. And you're like, I don't really think I want you working for me. You know what I mean? Promises have weight, man. So, I mean, I get it. Well, what he said to me...
Mr. Tojo respects your feelings, so he never pushed too hard. And now you're finally getting serious about settling down. I'm sure you'll get along beautifully with that lovely young lady. You probably have some concerns, what with her being from such a big and prestigious family. But you'll fit in just fine, Tyga. I know you will.
Just fine, she says. For some weird reason, Sister's words sent figures of ice down my spine.
Tyga?
She spoke again. I started going half in Tyga, half in the sister's voice. Well, she spoke again, probably worried that we'd been cut off. I made a short, barking laugh. Come on, sister. You're getting way ahead of yourself. And I said we're still a step or two behind all that.
Oh, yes, so you did. I'm sorry. I'm just so happy for you. I got carried away. Sister, a visitor's here! Oh, thank you, dear. I'll be there in a minute. I'm sorry, Tyga. I have to go. I'll make sure to have a rosary ready for the next time you visit. Please say hello to her for me.
Yeah, I will. See ya. I ended the call and looked at my phone screen. Several minutes passed as I stared silently at the blank screen.
And now you're finally getting serious about settling down.
Sister's words echoed in my head louder and louder.
But now you're finally getting serious about settling down.
Sorry. Should have repeated that slowly, getting louder and louder. Me? Settle down. Spent much of my life living free. No obligations, no burdens. Yeah, I knew that I couldn't live consequence-free forever, but still. Yeah, eventually, Tyga, you're gonna impregnate someone. You probably have 6 kids out there you don't even know about. I'm just saying, depends. How willy-nilly are you with your willy? I'm just... Tyga.
You probably have some concerns, what with her being from such a big and prestigious family.
Not really. Baby in a Tojo wasn't a big deal to me before, and it wasn't gonna be now. Gramps had complete control of that house. If you said I was a good marriage candidate for his granddaughter, nobody was gonna say otherwise. I like the fact he's like, I'm not worried about that, I'm worried about the fact that you said settle down. Oh my god. Panic attack. It's good you're having that now instead of like at the wedding. No, without Gramps' approval, I never would have told her straight out that I wanted to pursue her. But if everything was okay, why were Sister's words weighing so heavily in my mind?
Because you never thought you'd be ready for this, and this is not like, yeah, okay, we fool around, we have some fun, we date for a little while. This is straight up like, if I am into you, we're getting married. I mean, think about that. If every single relationship you ever had, I mean, as you get older, like when you're young, you're like, oh, we date. You're not thinking like, I'm like 17. Nobody should be 17. Nobody should be 17 on my channel. You're not old enough for me. Like, you're babies. No, stop. But you know what I mean? Like, when you're in high school, you're not like, oh my god, someday we're gonna get married. You might think that, but like the reality, if you sat there and stopped and went, you'd be like, what the fuck? I mean, granted, some people do get married like young, but like, I feel like when you're younger, like you're not like, even though that like, that's a thing in your head. Oh, people you meet, you date, you get married, whatever. You know that that's the cycle, kind of. But like, you don't go into every single relationship like, oh my god, he's cute, I'm gonna marry him. I mean, some people do. But like, sometimes you just meet people and you fall in love, you have fun, and then like, at some point, thinking about like, oh, that might pop into your head. But it is like, there's still like, in modern society, that little, almost like separation where you're like, yeah, sure, I could think about getting married and settling down with this person, but like, I mean, we're probably not gonna, I don't have to worry about that now. You're like, that's future me's problem, right? And then it either happens and you're like, oh shit, or it doesn't and you're like, see? But you don't go into like, I just met, you don't go to like a fucking Tinder date, sit down and be like, we're gonna get married someday, because then you look like the crazy person. And like, but yet the end goal with relationships is some sort of companionship, whether you're going to get married to that person or you're like, yeah, we'll just be common law. You know what? We'll just stay together forever, unmarried and just happy the way we are. You know what I mean? But like, the end goal is partnering with that person for life. That's generally, unless you're free love, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but you don't go into every single date with that, like, this is like, and all of a sudden he's like, we're gonna date, oh right, this is all about marriage, this is entire thing, here's 4 guys, pick one to marry. What? I mean, this is like a weird ass date. You watch those reality shows and you're like, the fuck kind of bullshit is this? But that's exactly what this is. It's just not televised, you know? So like, of course it's gonna freak him out a little bit. You know, you meet someone and you're like, hey, they're really cute, and you're like, hey, so yeah, this is, I mean, I guess we're kind of like, we've been going on a couple dates. So you're getting married? What? Could you imagine? The audacity. 2 dates into with a guy or a girl. Yeah, we're having a good time. Yeah, we hung out a couple times. So when's the wedding? Excuse me? Like, how the audacity of people when you're like, we're getting married. When are you having babies? Shh, get the fuck out of here. What the hell is that? But like, you go for one coffee and then people are like planning your wedding for you? That's kind of fucking freaky, I'm just saying. Even if in the back of your mind you're like, maybe it will be, maybe it won't. You don't know. There's a point where you don't know and you're like, maybe, maybe not. But he's like, yeah, oh right, yeah, no, that's exactly what this is, son of a bitch.
And it's like he wasn't thinking about it despite the fact that he knew. So, like, this is Taiga's stupid moment. Taiga's having an Ayuta moment right now. Okay, where he's like, oh, yeah. Anyway.
You'll fit in just fine, Taiga. I know you will.
Or that could be bothering him. I think it's more the, like, oh, maybe this is bothering him. I thought it was really like, whoa, wait, settling down. And then it's a fitting in just fine. Wait, but we are from and that could be it. I mean, maybe it's it too. Yeah, he fits in fine with, like, the outcasts. It's so awful to say about orphans. Sorry. But, like, it kind of is. Like, they're the kids that just, like, you know what I mean? Like, your family, when you grow up, is like, this is your family. And then it's like, it is weird when you're marrying into someone else's family. You meet people that are like you, but, like, this family, the Tojo family, is so different from his lifestyle that he's like, wait, I'm going to fit in there? Are you sure about that? Because I don't think so. So drastically different, but Gramps is also quite different. Just fine. But how? The words tumbled from my mouth. Another shiver crawled down my spine. Was there something important I was forgetting? I gotta make up my mind. About what? For what?
Taiga! If you're done with your call, come back down. Kasuga says he has to talk to you.
Oh, God. Yeah, Taiga, this is... Then you just ringing voice ripped through my room and dragged me back to reality. Coming! Tossed my phone out of my bed and walked out of my room while trying to dispel the strange, confused feeling that lurked in the back of my mind. Why would you just leave your phone in your room? You have it on you all the time so you can, like... just have it, just in case, for no reason? So you can realize how lonely you are that nobody calls you? But we don't get to see Kasuga berate him? I'm just disappointed. Those who support me. Thanks to Taiga, I've started studying magnanimous causes. But Taiga makes it clear how naive my goals really are. I'm just trying to do this for you. The weekend. For once, I had no plans. The weekend. For once, I have no... Oh, wait, no, I never have any plans. Awesome. Even more unusual, everyone just so happened to have their own business to tend to, leaving the normally bustling living room empty and quiet for a change. I wanted to ask Taiga to hang out, but he said he already had plans. Though that was mildly disappointing, I wasn't about to complain about finally getting a day all to myself. I'd asked Kasuga to acquire some things for me and was waiting impatiently for them to arrive. Please excuse the wait, Miss Spacey. I would wait for fucking eternity for you, Kasuga. It feels like it's been eternity that I've been waiting for you. Also, apparently there's a really hot butler in Shuen no Verche, so it's like, but also not dateable. Like, what the fuck? I just want to say, what the fuck? Why do games insist on hot butlers that I can't date? You better take all these motherfucking hot butlers and put them in a separate fucking game. There just better be a game where you're like, I know they don't look like they belong in the same game because they're all from different games, but this is the date hot butlers from every other fucking game. Because I swear to God, motherfuckers, you are tempting a bitch, and it's not good. I am hungry. Don't dangle that food in front of me. But really, Kasuga supremacy, all I'm saying. Kasuga!
The items you requested have arrived. Shall I take them up to your room?
Bring them here. Since no one's around today, I think I'll read them in here.
Is that so? Well then.
He disappeared out the door for a moment, but shortly returned carrying a small box. I opened it with the excited anticipation of a child on Christmas morning. Inside, the books that I'd ordered were stacked neatly. Thank you, Kasuga. I knew you'd be able to find them for me.
Of course, miss. It was a minor thing. No trouble to procure. It's good for you to study after all.
Kasuga's like, do you know how many fucking places I had to go and how many people I had to bribe and the shit I had to do in that back alley for that one? Just so you fucking know. Kasuga, no, don't do that! Kasuga, don't give up your innocence to anyone but me. It was me. I was the one in the back alley. A role play thing. Anyway. Anyway. I don't even have anything to say for myself, I really.
Kasuga smiled and bowed, then took the empty box and left the living room.
Okay, is that like a fucking mirror? Okay, seriously? Okay, so, like, the whole entire game, thinking that was a doorway with a really weird table that just, like, keeps continuing through the, like, there's the table, and then like, you see, like, the table in front of the, like, in between the couches, there's, like, a small square one and then the rectangular one, and I was always like, why the hell is there, like, another coffee table going through that fucking doorway? But that's not a doorway, is it? That's, like, a fucking mirror? Is it supposed to be a mirror? Is it a doorway? I can't tell. No, it's gotta be a fucking doorway, because if it's a mirror, where the fuck is the couch? And, like, why would it be so thick? But also, why the fuck is there a table going through the doorway? Do you see what I'm saying? How fucking weird is that? Like, what is it? Is, like, I mean, it can't be a mirror, because it'd be, like, set into the wall, but then it's not reflecting the wall at all, you know what I'm saying? It has to be a doorway. Okay, never mind. I don't know why my brain was just like, wait, is it a mirror, not a doorway? Because it always struck me as odd that the tables are like that, but I was always just like reading and I'm like, why are the tables like that? Why does the table go through the doorway? It's fucking bizarre. But like, yeah, no, it's okay, it's a doorway. I'm not stupid. But why do the tables do that? Like, why? What is that? Why? Why is the table like in the middle? Could you imagine like I have to walk around a table in my doorway? Bizarre. I spread the books out on the table in front of me. Which one? The one in the middle of the doorway? And tried to decide which one I should read first. The realities of modern-day orphanages. Welfare ideals and their effort on society. Our children are future, helping kids become independent. The book's stark titles gave away their contents. Right now, I desperately needed to study up until she opens one and it's actually porn. Because, you know, that shit bamboozles you once in a while. Like WhiteHouse.com. Everybody knows about that one, but... when I was in college, I had an art class. It was like a fucking physics class, okay? We had to build paper bridges, and they had to hold so much weight and everything like that. But it was like, okay, just do it! Use paper and build a bridge that's gonna hold X amount of weight. What? The fuck kind of class? What? Sure, that class was an asshole. Oh my god. But anyway, I just remember being home and being like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this shit? And then my mom and I going on the computer and being like, how to build a paper bridge. And then like in Google, right? Or it was probably Bing at the time. I don't know if Google existed. Oh god! Oh, PG before Google. PG pre-Google? I don't know. Anyway. Whatever the fuck, Ask Jeeves. And, like, we came a bunch of different sites, and one of them was, like, building paper bridges for the pregnant housewife, and we were like, what? That's fucking weird. That's an oddly specific webpage, but we clicked it, and it was porn! And we're like, okay! So that was fucking bizarre. Like, the shit that you never expect is porn. It's the internet, so everything's porn, but, like, the internet is for porn. Anyway. Right now, I desperately needed to study up, so, like, I hope Kasuga checked these books to make sure that they were actually right, and you're not opening some kind of weird porn. This is my way of challenging myself. I picked up a book, settled into a chair, and started turning the pages. But I wasn't reading anything, I was just turning the pages. Looking for the pictures. Couldn't tell you how long I sat there, absorbed. When I finished the first book, I reached my arms up to the ceiling in a big stretch. She read that whole entire book? Are they short? Because I feel like that's a long-ass read, and it's probably a lot of technical, like, a lot of information that's very dry, and you're like, you can't absorb it all in, like, one sitting. The more I look into this issue, the more I realize how complicated it all is. And that's why I need to start learning now. Huh? Taiga? Babe? You didn't go out today? I thought you did. Oh, that was the plan, yeah, but kind of overslept a little. Taiga's eyes started darting around the room, awkwardly looking for a place to land. And of course, he inevitably spotted the books on the table. Couldn't hide his shock, really, because that looks like a grimace. Babe, those books. Oh, I'm doing some studying. After visiting the orphanage the other day, there were some things I was curious about.
It's an important place to grandfather, of course, but it definitely feels like I have a connection, too.
Huh? How would you be connected?
Didn't grandfather ever tell you? Both my parents died when I was little. If it wasn't for grandfather, I probably would have grown up in an orphanage, too.
Ah, gotcha.
Tiger went silent. After hesitating for a moment, I slowly started to talk about what was on my mind. I was extremely lucky that I was taken in and raised by the Tojo family, but not everyone's as lucky as I was. Most aren't, in fact. And when I realized that I ought to do whatever I can to help people less lucky than I, just like grandfather does with the orphanage. Even if I can't do much now, once I inherit the Tojo family, I'd like to help disadvantaged kids however I can. I feel like he's not going to take. When I thought about what I needed to do to grow as a person, this was the first thing that came to mind. It kind of seems weird when you're like, we want to help the poor people. Well, that's like everybody. Richie McRich with your billions. What the fuck? We're all poor compared to you. But you know what I mean? It's like when people are like, disadvantaged. You're like, I mean, it's not that it's not true, but it just also sometimes the way you phrase things, you're like, I mean, I get what you're trying to say, but it also sounds a little weird. Like, I don't know. I couldn't deny that Tyga growing up in an orphanage influenced my decision. I mean, it's nice that she's like, I kind of want to help those kids so they have a decent life, even though they don't have parents, because that's devastating, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, but you got to be careful how you phrase shit. But more than that, those poor wretches. Poor unfortunate souls. Like, okay, Ursula.
Yep. He knows a lot to help out the orphanage as a whole. That makes him family, too. Came with me to see the place because you're gonna inherit the Tojo family someday, right? If that's the case, you're gonna need a rosary, too.
I was really happy when he offered to let me join the orphanage family. It made me want to reciprocate his kindness. What could I do for my family? After giving it serious thought, this is what I came up with. They won't think I'm being too intrusive, or that I'm trying too hard. I tried to hide my nerves as I waited for his response. But I had to admit that in the little corner of my heart, I expected he'd be happy and supportive about my decision.
Same in kids, eh?
Doesn't sound into the idea.
For now, I think the sentiment's plenty, babe. Don't get in too deep to it, okay? Everything in moderation and all that jazz.
I blinked, surprised at his generically lukewarm response. Of course, I mean, he could also be like, you know what, you're gonna have a lot to worry about when you get older. Just, you know, it's great that you care, but like, enjoy your childhood. Enjoy being young while you have a chance before you inherit the Tojo family. You know, but we never really had much of a chance, did we ever? We never got to actually be a child. Did he perhaps believe I wasn't serious about my commitment? This isn't just a whim, you know. I seriously feel strongly about this. I want to help.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that you're serious, and I'm glad that you think that way. Thanks. When the biggest problems are born from the purest desires to help, when people romanticize charity work, everything goes straight to hell.
What do you mean? Micah paused, thinking for a moment. Then he let out a short breath and looked me in the eye.
Babe, do you know what kind of support Gramps gives to the orphanage? Like, specifically? Money?
Yes, I looked it up, briefly. In the records, the donations were purely personal ones from grandfather himself, not the Tojo family. Moreover, they were surprisingly minimal. Toys and everyday items, Christmas and birthday presents. The donations were all small and innocuous items, nothing more. Yeah, I mean, he spent, you know what I mean? Instead of like Tojo family money, spending his own on a way. You know what I mean? Because the money that you're making for the Tojo family is not like necessarily all yours to spend if you're running a business, if your family is a business. You know what I mean? To be honest, when I discovered as much, I thought...
Let me guess. You thought that with the Tojo family's wealth, you could do a whole lot more to give the orphanage some serious financial support.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, with the resources the Tojo family's got, every kid living at the orphanage right now could technically grow up in total comfort. But for how long? What happens when they hit the age of majority?
Huh?
You could probably pull off your idea, no prob. When the kids start coming and they don't stop coming. When the new kids come in, you make sure they enjoy the same comfortable life as the children before them, right? How long do you think you can keep that train going? So he is just like, oh, little toys, little things to kind of like, because like, oh, some toys and stuff like that, it makes them happy, and they learn to be happy with what they have. They're comfortable, they're not starving, they've got a roof over their head, they got toys, whatever. And then they learn to go out and fend for themselves and make a life for themselves, you know what I mean? They're not constantly like, oh, well, this is cushy, I don't want to leave the orphanage, this place is great, and then you go out when you had a nice, it's kind of like if you were born rich and then your parents kicked you the fuck out to go live in a cardboard box the second you turned 18. That's drastic. So I kind of get what he's saying, I guess. Hey, grandfather does little things and he supports them, you know, but instead of like a ton of money, a little bit of help because it helps them, but it's not, I mean, I get what he's saying. You know, yeah, I could support every single person, but that's going to run everything dry, and then what happens when they leave? Like, Tyga didn't grow up with very much. He grew up in an orphanage, but he had family. Like, the kids and the sisters and everything, like, they were a family. So they had all that. And then he went out and explored the world. But if he grew up like, oh, I had tons of shit, why would I bother? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I get what he's saying, but... An orphanage that lets kids grow up in the lap of luxury, all for free. When some of the poorer families get wind of that, they may give up their kids on purpose. Or that! I wouldn't think about that. Rumors will go around too. Other orphanages will start begging for you for big donations. Will you do the same for all of them? Can you?
Okay, so... I sat there in stunned silence as Tyga ground reality into my face. All I could say in my defense was that I hadn't thought that far. And that's the thing. I donated $10,000 to the orphanage. Why can't you donate $10,000 to me? Well, because you have to think about yourself and supporting your family and your lifestyle. And then it's like, oh, but you have tons of money. But it's like, it's not a never-ending resource. Like, you could keep making more money, but if all of a sudden something happens and you stop making money, and then where are those people? They're not giving you that money back. You know what I mean? They're not going to help you. So, little things, small donations, and people are, and then the sisters and everything are appreciative of it. Like, sweet! Woohoo! Yeah! This helps! But you're not like, they're not relying on only you for the support. You know what I mean? I must have let my disappointment show because he grimaced and guiltily ran a hand through his hair.
Got a little too prickly there, didn't I? Sorry. Not like I'm trying to say you're wrong for wanting to help. Your heart's in the right place. It's just charity when taken too far can turn into a burden. Gramps knows that, so he makes sure to keep his donations reasonable and hush-hush.
Exactly. I knew it. I was still an ignorant child. How could I believe I'd help anyone with such a shallow viewpoint? I was so ashamed of myself, I couldn't bear to look him in the face. Sorry, Tyga, and thank you. You've given me a much-needed dose of reality.
You don't need to apologize. Remember, I did say that I'm honestly happy to help you. Oh, I'm honestly happy that you want to help.
Wow, I can't read. Tyga's voice was gentle, soothing. I looked up at him and saw a little smile on his face.
Kindness and charity and stuff, that kind of...
Kindness and charity and stuff, that kind of stuff. Tim, did you have a seizure when you wrote this?
Kindness and charity and that kind of stuff feels good when you do it. People can get addicted to that feeling and get carried away. Can't say it's never happened to me.
Huh?
Never mind. Anyway, if you're gonna study that kind of stuff, make sure you keep your wits about you. The road to hell is paved with good intentions and so on.
Okay. Even though I still felt a bit mortified, I wanted to continue studying and find my own way to contribute. I was also impressed with just how thoughtful Tyga had shown himself to be. He really is an incredible person. Kinda is. He was good at giving the right advice at the right time, and he didn't mince words. No wonder that even Grandfather listened to what he had to say. I feel the same way about him as I do about Kasuga? Now, thinking about it, not quite, but... Yeah, I don't feel the same way about Tyga as I do about Kasuga, but doesn't mean I don't like Tyga. Wait, Tyga? Caught up in a stream of consciousness, the words tumbled from me as a natural extension of my thoughts. Will you stay with me from now on?
Pardon? Oh! Babe, did you just...
No, wait, I didn't mean it that way! Tyga stared at me, his eyes as wide as saucers. I shook my head in a furious denial. I was just thinking that it'd be a waste to let you walk out the door. You're a valuable human resource.
When I inherit the Tojo family someday, I know I'll need good advisors. I think you'd be perfect for that sort of thing. So, I wasn't, proposing or anything. I was scouting you as a potential employee. He's like, I kind of wish you were proposing. Taiga? Sheesh. You really do mirror him, don't you? Oh, grandfather? Never mind. Anyway, you give me way too much credit if you're trying to scout me for a respectable job.
No, I don't think so. Both grandfather and I see a lot of talent in you. You'd do just fine.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. It's just...
You can be strangely humble sometimes, Taiga. You should be a bit more confident about your abilities.
I'm not being humble, and I got more than enough confidence to spare, thanks. I'm saying that's not it.
Taiga let a sigh. Taiga let slip a sigh.
Saying what's on my mind. There's no deep thought involved here. Just a straight line from my brain to my mouth. I say some real dumb stuff, too. Given your social positions, both you and Gramps just aren't used to folks who deliver unvarnished opinions. It's novel for you guys, that's all.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. So don't take what I say at face value, okay? It's just better that way.
Apparently, Taiga was determined to reject my praise for his talents. I thought a moment and said, "You say so." I know that, yes. I'm like, if you say so. Oh, you say so. Ooh, create a save file here. Ooh, wait.
I know we're like way over time. Well, we're not way over time, but I'm gonna go way down here for the save. Okay, what do we do? If you say so! What? Ooh, got the axe. Seemed good. So we can break down our walls.
Could this be another piece of advice? Is he trying to get me to realize something by saying that? So, alright, I'll keep that in mind if you want me to.
So that's how you're gonna read this situation, eh?
For some reason he looked troubled. Is the way I live really that much of a bother to you? Taiga's less than enthusiastic response was making me less and less confident about my decision.
Like, oh, I meant, you know, I'm in love with you, but like, whatever.
Does this mean he doesn't like being with me? No, he likes being with you. He doesn't want to work for you. He must have picked up on my thoughts because he hurriedly waved his hands in denial.
Whoa, I'm not trying to say you're a burden or anything. I'm flattered you think I got talent. It's just, you gotta take off the rose-tinted glasses.
Don't worry, I'm quite confident in my ability to judge people, especially when it comes to you.
Maybe, but...
The more we talked, the more tired his voice seemed to get. My curiosity got the better of me. I opened my mouth to ask him directly when suddenly...
I was really like, we should have stopped it. And when suddenly... Nothing, but anyway. Huh? Oh, Taiga, weren't you going out somewhere today? Yeah, I am. In fact, I was just getting ready to take off right now. I'm gonna go get changed quick. I'll be back late tonight, so I won't be needing any dinner. Later. And Taiga, wait!
Why do I have the feeling he's running away from me? I gave the door he disappeared through such a nasty glare, I think I scared Ichiya. Hesitantly, he asked,
was I interrupting something?
No, you didn't do anything wrong. I sighed and gathered the books scattered across the living room table, pat Ichiya on the head because he's sad. I have studying to do. I'm going back to my room. See ya.
Yeah.
Ichiya looked like he wanted to say something, but I walked away, mentally offering him an apology as I left the living room. Well, there you go. That was the perfect. Now this is a perfect place to end it. We're over time, but like whatever. So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.